green light. Go, go, go.
Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to Noobs R Us GT3 Rookie Series Season 6. This is Race 5 at Brands Hatch. I'm your host, Jeremy Cubbage, and I'm going to be joined in the booth tonight by Nico Menendez. Nico, hello.
Hello, good night, everyone.
Hello. Nico's not going to be racing tonight. He will be just joining me and commentating tonight. I'm also joined in the booth by Jake Willems and Larry Foster. Jake, hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. It looks like you're currently first place in points for the AM split, and you're, what, 8 points ahead of P2? Roderick Red, and it doesn't look like Roderick is racing tonight, is he? No, he is.
I see him there in practice, yeah. He's creeping up on me, so we'll see if we can hold it.
Okay, how are you feeling about today's race? What position are you in right now? Looks like second from practice, I guess, so... How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Brands Hatch is one of my favorites, but it's easy to go in the grass here, so we'll see how it turns out if I can stay consistent.
Well, hopefully we don't see you in a wall at any point. Now, this track is known, especially with our rookie series, to have lots of bonks on lap one. It's a very narrow track, so hopefully you're able to run away with Shane Dodger up in front and hold on to those points for first, or at least first in the points podium. So good luck tonight, Jake. I'm going to move on to Larry. Larry, are you ready?
Nice to see you. Nice to speak to you, gentlemen.
Hello. You are in third overall, and behind you is Glenn Jacobs in fourth with 1 point trailing for third. Are you worried about Glenn at all tonight?
Glenn and I have not really seen each other on track as far as I know. I'm not 100%, accustomed to the names here, but I'm also experimenting tonight. I'm running VR for the first time in the race, but I've got it all dialed in, so we're good.
All right. With that said, I just received a message from Glenn a little bit ago about him not being able to join because of a computer issue. So you won't have to worry about him. However, Mike Cook, is he on track? He is. Mike Cook is only 2 points behind you, so you've got to worry about him too. Otherwise, how are you feeling about tonight's race?
I think I have worked with Cook a couple of times trying to run down the leaders, but I like this track a lot. I've done a lot of laps here. I've got the Lexus dialed in, so I think I'm going to be doing fairly well.
All right. Well, good luck to you, Larry. Go out there and get your qualifying in, and we'll see you out on track.
Thank you, man.
Yep. All right, Nico. I know you haven't really watched much of the Rookie Series stuff because you've been racing, but if you had to put your money on anybody tonight, who would you put your money on?
I've been seeing some really crazy improvements on Shane Dodger throughout the week, so my money's on him for tonight.
Okay, Shane Dodger for first place. It looks like he was running that during practice, so we may see him do that. I'm going to go ahead and get the qualifying information out on screen for you guys. So you'll see that information pop up on screen. I just want to say hello to Kitten Tank, I think it is, saying let's go Shane and hi from Oregon. Hello. Devin Anthony in chat as well, and Will Figgin saying yo 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 yo. So we got some viewers saying hello. Drivers are starting to leave the pits now on their out laps. Shane Dodger you were talking about. Let's see where he's at. He's in the Ferrari 404 custom-made livery. It looks like. Oh yeah, I remember him making this and posting about it. It's got the
Snorlax livery.
Snorlax on it. Yeah, I think that's awesome. So hopefully we don't catch him sleeping tonight. We want to see him do well. Beard scratches Team Snorlax. There we go. So it looks like right now out on track, car number 1 is the lead. Is that right? Who is that? Oh, okay, that'd be Wes Jones. Sorry, my camera's doing weird camera things. Wes Jones is leading the pack out on the out lap right now, and he's got plenty of space all around him, so he's going to feel good and clear as long as those other drivers in the pits don't come out and block him. So let's just see what he does. Wes Jones has started this season strong and got a couple podiums, and then has kind of moved back into the middle of the pack right now, showing 8th place overall, with a lot of drivers behind him. But I think he's going to do well. 7th, 13th is what he got in the first race, so he didn't do amazing. I guess he may have crashed out, but top position for him was 5th place, so we may see some changes in that. Larry Foster out on track as well, kind of in the middle of the pack now. It looks like he's still on his out lap, so we'll see if he can show any fast times.
Got some drivers starting out their laps now.
Okay, we got Wes Jones out there starting their lap. And to turn off the auto cam. Carter 13th place. That's Willems we were just talking to. He's number 2 out on track with a beautiful livery. I like his livery a lot. And then behind him is RL Brown. Those drivers are our top 3 currently leading the pack for qualifying. We'll see what times they put down. Wes Jones has kept that gap ahead of him, and he has a car. Ooh, he's slipping around as he comes around turn 7 there. Tentatively dangerous. Yep, there he goes. Turn 8. He's invalid now. Moving on. Willems following through the same corner, not invalid. It looks like he's going to put down a time this lap.
Oh, and Drew Freiberger's on the outside of the track. Something must have happened to him going into turn 3.
Freiberger just pausing and sitting, and looks like he's waiting for a safe gap to rejoin. While we're saying that, Willems did put down a time, 125.132. Current best time right now. We'll see improvements on that as we go. Did you know that the lap record at Brands Hatch on the GP circuit is a 112.276? It was done in 2009 in an A1 GP Ferrari, which, of course, that makes sense once you hear what kind of vehicle it is. But it was done by Adam Carroll in 2009. Brands Hatch is 3.916 kilometers long, has only 3 left-hand corners, just surprising, with 8 right-hand corners. The pole position normally starts on the left side for that sweeping right-hander. So, kind of a weird bit of trivia for you there. With that said, it looks like Shane Dodger, like you were saying, is going to put down some fast times. He's in first, 124.807, our first sub 205 or 25 seconds. So we'll see if we get anybody else in the 24s as we move on. Currently, a lot of times.
To see.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm expecting to see 1 or 2 23s in this split.
You expect to see 23s in the split.
Shane's proved he can do them in practice. Let's see if he can put it together now with the pressure, with the added pressure of being in the race scenario.
Shane is currently up 2/10 on his time as he comes down the back straight now, but he does have that BMW in front of him, which is slowing him down a little bit. So he is going to make an improvement on his time, but it's not going to be enough. Actually, it looks like he's falling off on his time as he comes around the final corner. So if I were Shane, I would back up at this point and give yourself a little bit extra space. With that said, Jake Woolham's just put down a 24.262. Up close to the 23s, but not quite there yet. So other drivers with major improvements currently, Wes Jones up 0.5 on their time. Current time is a 125.845, but he's only half a second up out of the first sector. So as long as he can continue to make improvements, you may see him in the mid 24s as well.
We got Eric Metcalf in P3 with a 125.1, rocking that WRT and WM4.
He decided he was going to go to the pits after his time. He said, that's the best I'm ever going to get. With that said, I'm going to keep watching Wes Jones here. He's up 0.8 as he's coming out of the second sector through turn 8 now. That's where he went off track during his first outlap. A whole second up on his time as he's coming through the final corner now. Losing a little bit of time on the way in. Gaining it back on the way out. 1 whole second up. That's going to put him at 24.8 from 6th place into 2nd, right behind Jake Willems.
Yep.
Great lap by Wes Jones.
Really good lap by Wes.
Another driver improving their time is Garrick Bennett, currently in 7th place with a 126.0, up 0.6 as he's halfway through the second sector now. It's funny that the second sector only has 2 corners in it, turn 4 and turn 5. It's a weird place to, well, how are you supposed to gain time there? Up 0.8 now. But 0.8 will be a pretty good improvement as well. That'll move him up a couple positions at least. He's going through turn 8. He's got a car ahead and behind him, which can end up being nerve-wracking. Up a whole second on his time, going through the final corner. 1.1, losing a little bit of time on the way through, gaining it back. 1.1, almost 1.2 from 7th place. Up into, actually, okay, there we go, 5th place. So good lap by Ben. Yep.
Oh, so I'm seeing this correctly? I see Glenn Jacobs is in the server. He's currently in the pits in P22.
Okay, Glenn Jacobs is here. He did a full Windows reinstall. Happy to have Glenn back. Things are about to happen. Who would have thought we'd see Glenn do a full reinstall and be ready to go for the race?
Let's see if he's able to put down a qualifying time.
We'll see. It looks like he's getting his car ready now. Larry Foster out on track in 15th place. His fastest lap currently 27.2. He's up a whole second on that time as he comes out of the first sector over the hill towards turn 5 now. Gaining a little bit extra time there. A second's not going to be a whole lot. That'll move him up into top 10, but he's got to really put down some time to get in that top 5. Almost 2 seconds of improvement to do that. Larry coming through turn 7 up the hill. That's a dangerous part of the track. Up a second and a half, like we were talking. He looks like he's making further improvements. Misses the apex there, so he's losing some time down the back straight now. 1.4, gaining time on the way in. Staying steady with it on the way out. 1.4 seconds up on his from 15th. Moving up into 10th place overall for Larry Foster. Good improvement. So you were saying we were going to see 23s. Jake Willems has yet to put down another valid lap. He's invalid right now. Behind him, Nicholas Dwyer is actually on an improved time, but it's not enough yet. Only through the second turn, so we'll see him improve. He's done a 24.3. Shane Dodger has not made an improvement yet either. Looks like he's actually losing time through the last sector. He's got cars all around him. If I were Shane at this point, I would let car number 8 or 8th place, who's at Roger Rudd, pass, and I would give myself extra space. as now being right on the tail of who's that Freiberger in the Mustang
Yeah,
ahead of him.
that's
Looks
not
like-
going to be helpful for him being one of the faster drivers in the
Looks like
server right
Shane
now.
is going to concede and just move into the pits. We'll see if he comes back out at all. Glenn Jacobs still in the pits, has not done a lap time yet, and doesn't look like he's getting his car ready. So I would like to see him jump out on track and do a lap, but have to see. And there goes Shane as we were talking. He's jumping right back out. May have just been waiting for a little bit of a clear point on the track as the car pulls out right in front of him. So he's going to have to deal with that, and another car coming out on their hot lap as well. A dangerous place. I've always hated that pit exit. Shane going off track. All right, moving up.
Spits you out right into the apex of the first turn, so can get a little dangerous.
Bobby Harold is currently last place overall out of drivers that have put down a lap. He's done a 31.477. Now that gap is massive. 6-second gap, 7-second gap from first to 20th. But he's making a 1.6-second improvement currently. He's just started the third sector, going through turn 7 now, up the hill. Still improving his time as we speak, so we'll see what position he moves into with a 1.9-second, 2-second improvement now. This should be enough to at least move him up 2 positions, but he's not going to get any higher than 18th probably. 2.2. Crossing the start-finish line, 2.5. That will move him up into 18th, as I said. So a good improvement. He's not in last. He's got room to improve still.
We're looking at a very tight field in the top 10. We got only 1.3 seconds separating the first car and the 10th car, which is really great to see for the split.
Yeah, for an AM
competition
split,
is
having
very-
such a
it's very
close.
even.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Now, we haven't talked about it yet, but the pro split is going to have a little bit more racing going on in the top 3. We have 2 esports drivers that have joined our series for the pros. So when we move into race 2, you may see Zach not being first for the first time this season. I'm excited about that.
Finally, someone's going to bring him some competition.
A little bit. Roderick Rudd making an improvement on his time. Current fastest for him was a 25.2, looking to get into the 24s. As he's coming out of the second sector, he was 3/10 up, but now has lost a little bit of time. So looks like his time loss is through turn 6. See if he gains any extra time through turn 8. Down the back straight. Looks like he's not. No improvement really. 0.1 seconds up. 0.1 still enough to move up a position, but he's got to do 0.15 it looks like. Goes really wide through the final turn, but ends up gaining some time anyways. 0.2 seconds up. This should move him up at least 1 position. There he goes, overtaking Eric Metcalf for 7th place. Moving way up to Nicholas Dwyer here. He's up 2/10 on his time. He's trying to get that first place position. Jake Willems is down on his time. Looks like Jake Willems is just putting some hot laps in and relaxing for a little bit. Dwyer lost his time through turn 8. Going through the final corner now. Trying to gain as much of it back as he can. Not going to gain anything. He's going to be nearly identical to his fastest lap time. He still has 7 minutes to make an improvement in qualifying though. So we may see another improvement from Nicholas Dwyer as we go.
He made 100th of improvement.
100th of a second, yeah. Mike
Which
Cook,
was unfortunately not enough. Although he's very, very close, so if he can just keep it clean through turn 8 for the next lap, he'll probably get Willems here.
we'll have to see if he makes that improvement. While we've been chatting, Phil Dixon is making some improvements on his time. There's a car spun back there, car 100 there. That was Dwyer, as we were talking about. Looks like Dwyer's not going to get a good lap this time around, being off track. But Phil Dixon, fastest lap 26.5, and looks like through the first sector he was up a half a second, but lost it through turn 4. So that's his trouble corner right now. But regardless of that, if he can make another 10th improvement in the last sector of the track, he may still move up a position, overtaking Drew Freiberger for 15th.
He goes extremely wide though through turn. I think
Yep.
that's turn 6.
And
I
I'm
don't know if
showing,
that was.
I'm showing invalid right now through race control. There now he's for sure
That's
invalid
definitely
as
invalid.
he goes off track and into the dirt. Hopefully he'll be able to recover, get back up, and get going again. Mike Cook making an improvement on his time. He's got his teammate, Wreck-It Race team driver Drew Freiberger right behind. Drew doing the drifty off track, drifted back across track. I don't want to watch that. This is just qualifying, everybody. So if you see how dangerous qualifying can be for one car, imagine these cars being in close proximity. So you're fourth again, says Bennett in chat. Who are you going to kill this time? Hopefully you don't kill anybody. But, you know, what happens, happens. Mike Cook, a little bit of improvement on his time, 26.302. He's in 14th currently. Mike Cortez, Noobs R Us Works driver, doing some drifting through turn 2. 3/10 up on his time. I talked to Mike briefly about his life situation. He took a series and a half break due to life, so he's actually kind of moved down in the split. Mike has actually won our AM split before. That's why he's got that stripe on the side of his car. So I'm hoping to see him get back in podiums within a season or two. Speaking of improvements, Mike Cook still making another improvement as he's finishing up his second sector. Coming through turn 5 now into turn 6. Down the hill, up a whole second on his time. A whole second can move him up into the top 10.
Yeah, just barely into the top 10. He's looking for a 25.4, which is exactly what the top of 10th position is currently on.
Tell you the difference in the time colors. The time colors on the left, the green ones are showing personal best. The purple is showing an overall best. That's why you see purple at the top. Mike Cook, 1 second up on his time, like we talked about, 14th into 9th place for Mike Cook. So the purple at the top, 123.890, that's the best. Purple times are nearly always going to show the best overall. Green times are personal bests. And then, as you can see, it says last at the top of that bar. That's just their last lap time overall on that in that bar there. Hopefully that answered your question. Pit wall is not working, so don't click that link. All right, let's see here. Ryan Chanley. I was just about to watch Ryan Chanley, and it looks like he may have been validated through turn 2. We'll have to see. Trying to make an improvement on his time. Ryan Chanley is another competitive driver, currently in 6th overall in the standings. Last race he finished 5th in the first race and then 10th in the second. But looks like he's 231, so only 3 points behind 3rd place. So the top 7 drivers are all competing for 3rd place in points. So
Nice.
from 4th to 7th are all within a point of each other. Couldn't even break 25 seconds before this. What are you talking about? Bennett, would you go out there and practice and stop chatting in chat? You need to go do some practice. You're in 4th. You need to get into the 3rd. What are you doing? All right, Chanley coming around the penultimate corner now. Car's behind him. He's making a slight improvement, but it's not going to be enough. Only 1/10 up. He definitely has a lot of room to improve. Between him and 12th place is 3/10. He's hitting that 3/10 marker now, but it's not going to be enough to move up. So now he's only 3/100ths of a second behind 13th between Brown.
Drew Freiberger moved into 9th place just behind him.
Drew Freiberger into 9th. I'd like to see more improvements from Drew. He's doing a great job. Drew is our newest event manager, so if you guys end up joining us, you may see and hear more from Drew in the Discord. So, oh, I see what you're saying there, Bennett. You couldn't even break the 25s before this, and now you're in the 24s. You should need to cool down and lock in. All right, take a deep breath, relax. You're not going to be on stream. Everybody's in the underwear, all that junk, right? Glenn Jacobs, late join for the qualifying, is getting out on track now. He's put down a 28.0. He's up a half a second on his time as he's coming through turn 2 now into turn 3. Up 8/10. He's got a lot of time to improve. Glenn, currently 4th overall in the standings. We're hoping to see an improvement from him. 1.2 seconds up, making major improvements on his lap. So we'll see how he does. He's done 3 laps already.
Guess trying to get settled back into the game, into the car. Trying
Yep.
to finish the dial, all of the settings on ACC.
On a new
After-
Windows install.
After a fresh Windows install.
He's a whole second up on his time. He's got 1 minute left of qualifying. He should be able to get another lap after this. Yeah, he's going to be able to get another lap. So as long as he crosses that start-finish line prior to the 0 mark, he'll do another lap and make another improvement. He's 1.3 seconds up. 1.3 is going to be enough to move him nowhere. 1.5, 1.7, 1.8 off track. Glenn needs to rejoin. He's not going to. He's going to concede. He should have done it. 20 seconds left to qualifying, and he's not going to put down another lap. Wes Jones is pulled over. Brown is trying to finish their lap. The 3 drivers out on track right now are not making any improvement to their time. Chanley and Brown are the closest. Sean Bramer's out on track as well, with no improvement. So we may see the drivers pull over if they don't feel like they're going to do any better. We may see them try and eke out the last little bit. Brown is now in the positive, or I guess the negative on his time. Only a couple hundredths up on his fastest. Losing that as he goes down the back straight now. Or the final straight, whatever you want to call this. Trying to eke out the last little bit. You can see him getting all the way to the edge of the track there. Actually losing a little bit extra time. So he's going to finish with no time gain. Chanley's going to cross the line as well. 2.2 seconds slower than their fastest. And Bramer deciding he's going to drive like grandma around the track at 2 seconds slower than his fastest. With that said, I'm going to run a 2-minute ad. When we get back from the ad, we will do the driver rundown. They may or may not be out on track. If you do not want to see our ads, feel free to use your Prime sub so you don't see those anymore. Go grab yourself something to drink, grab a snack, and we will be back here in about 2 minutes.
I will do that myself. I'll go get a bottle of water.
There you go. All right, for those of you that are still here with us, thank you for being here. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. The drivers are going to do their own little thing for a minute, sit out on track. We've got 2 minutes to sit here. I'm going to fill up my water bottle, use the restroom, and I'll be right back. I have returned. Nico, are you back with me?
I'm back.
All right, welcome back. And while we've been gone, Papa Pwang gave us a follow along with Coste. Thank you for the follows, guys. The ad has finished, so let's go ahead and do a driver rundown. Nico, would you like to read the drivers as I drive the camera down the lane? How much time do we got before this starts?
I don't see you doing that, but
You
I
don't
can
need to see it.
definitely-
You just read the names.
Okay, we got Shane Dodger in P1, followed by Jake Willems in second. Running out the top 3, we got Nicholas Dwyer, all 3 Ferraris. Then to change things up a bit, we got Alan Mackey in a McLaren, followed by yet another 2 Ferraris in Garrick Bennett and Wes Jones. Then in P7, we got Roderick Rudd running the BMW M4, followed by 2 WRT cars of Eric Metcalf and Mike Cook. Then in 10th, finishing up our top 10, we got Drew Freiberger. Then we got Noobs Race driver Michael Cortez in the Honda NSX, followed by Jeremy Hayes, Derek Foster in 13th, Arel Brown in 14th, Ryan Chanley in the 15th position in that Aston Martin. Then we got Sean Bramer, Phil Dixon, Glenn Jacobs, Ian Guzane, Bobby Harold, C.W. Wells in 21st, and then rounding up our grid, we got Lizzie Alizea, rocking up that Mustang this season. That's interesting.
Yeah, she decided she was going to run with the Mustang this season, so it's cool to see her in it. Unfortunately, it looks like she did put down a lap, so we're going to see her starting last. Nobody starting from the pits. Actually, take that back. Who's that? Dixon in the pits? No. What am I seeing here? Glenn Jacobs? Not Glenn Jacobs. Bramer? I'm seeing somebody in the pits. Maybe it's just a glitch on my end. Now I'm seeing that not using the in-game map, so I'm using the, as if you were on stream, you'd see it as P17, which is not right. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens as these drivers are out. You can see them warming up their tires in the single file formation. This is a very short track. But like I said, 124s is the times that these guys were doing. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the qualifying information on screen so you guys don't need to see that anymore. As soon as I can get my mouse doing the thing it's supposed to do. Qualifying stuff has left the screen. I'm going to turn the music off and we're going to get right into this. Nico, when you want to say something and I'll shut up. That's how we're going to run this, okay?
All right. I'm excited for this race.
I am
It's
too.
my first time watching the AM split, so
Dude, the AM splits have been so much fun to watch. I honestly would watch
bet.
them all the time. So, Shane Dodger, like you said, putting down fast laps. Didn't see a 23 from him, but he is in first. So we'll see what happens. Drivers are about to go into that nose arc formation. And like I had said, Brands Hatch does have the left-hand pole position starting. On ACC, it is right hand for the right turn. So, see them going side by side. Noah's Ark.
let's
Down.
hope for no bonks in this start. Turn 2 usually is a bit of a dangerous corner for a race start.
Yep,
but
absolutely.
Let's see how they manage.
The AMs have been doing very good on their lap 1 bonks, especially lap 1, turn 1. So we'll see if that continues to play out. This corner has been known to kill people, though, so. All right, here we go. We are... Green light. Green flag. Brands
Good
Hatch.
launch by the outside, by Willems.
Yep, so they're side by side down the hill now. We might see some slipping and sliding. I'm going to move right to the middle of the pack, see if anything's happening. So the helicam view. Looks like we got a 3-wide situation, moving all the way back up towards the front. Dodger running away from Willems.
We got a clean start.
Absolutely did. Bennett getting an overtake done in turn 3. Overtake Mackey, easy peasy. Now Mackey's got 3 cars right in trail of him that he doesn't want to pass, so he's got to stay on his toes as he goes up the hill through turn 4. Moving back in the pack. It looks like Metcalf is right on the tail of Wes Jones. Metcalf taking a peek to the inside. Turn 5 is not going to do anything much of it. Didn't really screw up Wes Jones either, but Metcalf got a little bit wide into the turn, so he's going to lose that time. Moving further back in the pack, Mike Cortez on the tail of Drew Freiberger. See some battling. This is a great start for the AM split. You wouldn't think that these guys are AM drivers, but if you look at the track map, there's not one car that's been hit yet. And this is Brands Hatch. This is the AM split. So if these drivers are
we still see a very tight pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane Dodger. 0.7 seconds behind him is Jake Willems as they're going through turn 1 for lap 2. Shane's just pulling away every corner by a little bit here and there. Moving back towards 5th place, we got Mackey trying to gain that time on Bennett ahead. All those drivers ahead gaining a little bit of the ground. You can see Mackey tighten in that corner, able to gain some ground on Bennett ahead. May see an overtake opportunity coming as they go through turn 3 into turn 4. He's able to get enough draft and run down the straight. These cars both similar in power. You may see enough draft for Mackey to try and do an overtake into turn 5. We'll see what happens.
There's a bonk in the back.
Bonk in the back. Who was that? P20?
We see Harold off the track. I don't know
Harold.
what happened.
Let's do a replay and see what happened there. 15 seconds back. Oh, unfortunately, I just caught him off track, so that was too far back, or not far back enough. We can watch his rejoin. Looks like he was able to rejoin safely, so unfortunately, we're going to miss that bonk. I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, no!
What happened now?
Lizzie Ali say I just killed CW Wells into turn 5.
Let's watch that
Little
one.
left tap
We
in
can
the
see
rear.
that one. Into turn 5, she was attempting the overtake over the hill. Backs out, goes behind, misses her braking point, and hits Wells in the rear, spinning him. Lizzie driving away unscathed.
That's going to be a challenge for CW to get back into the rest of the pack.
Yep, absolutely. Luckily, this is the last race, last event of the season that has 2 races. So he does have another chance next race to get back into the middle of the pack and gain those points back. We're currently watching Freiberger as he's trying to run down Mike Cortez up the hill towards turn 2. Just needs to get a better exit here and he'll be able to do an overtake attempt. Looks like he slips a little bit on the way down the hill. David in with a 12-month sub. Hello. Thank you, Senor David. What are you sorry for? Nothing to be sorry for. Larry Foster right on the tail of Brown as he goes up the hill trying to get a better turn, better exit. Looks like he does. And he's got the draft. Both of these guys in BMWs. Nope, I take that back. The car ahead's a BMW. He's in the Lexus. You can see Brown being defensive as he goes towards turn 5, moves back towards the racing line. Hits the apex and the exit properly, running away a little bit from Foster behind.
This Mike got the overtake down on Freiberger.
Mike now ahead of Freiberger and well ahead of Freiberger as well. We'll move back to Foster and Brown. You can see Foster was going to try an overtake attempt. Looks like he's going to try it again. He's going to poke his nose in. You can see Brown ahead being defensive, landing right in the middle of the track as you're supposed to do. A little bit of bumping. Nobody's off track. However, this gives Dixon behind the opportunity to overtake Foster. So now Foster has to worry about Dixon. Looks like Dixon is backed out just enough for it to not matter as they're going into turn 1. Looks like Larry's going to slip right back into that 13th position, keeping Dixon fairly behind him there. So this is something you got to think about as you're battling. Is you got people behind you too that you don't want to overtake.
Good heads-up driving by all these 4 drivers in this battle.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Even with a little bit of bumping and banging, there's not a whole lot of slipping and sliding. So that's good. Speaking of battles, moving up to 6th place, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All of these drivers fighting each other. See Jones right on the tail of Bennett. Jones not able to tuck his nose in. He might be able to do it through turn 6. He's poking in his nose just to get Bennett to think that if he's going to do it. Looks like Bennett has not fallen for it and started to run away. Now Jones behind has to worry about Metcalf coming up the hill. Jones hitting too narrow on that corner, getting him a little bit sideways. Jones has now fallen off completely from Bennett ahead. Bennett is trying to catch up to Roger Rudd.
Oh no. There's a bonk from Cortez. I don't know what happened to him.
Let's back it up 15 seconds and see. Looks like it wasn't a bonk. Looks like it was a self-induced bonking up the hill.
Oh, the good old bonking.
Through turn 7. So Mike Cortez has got to continue back on and keep his head down and catch those positions back. Larry Foster and Brown still going at it as they go through turn 1. Oh, David said he left his race because of internet. That sucks, man. Well, hopefully you can get back in next week, huh?
A very huge gap has formed now between P1 and P2.
Yeah, nearly 3
I
seconds
saw they were very
off.
close together until Wallums made a mistake and then he fell back. But now he can't seem to catch back up.
Woolam's fastest lap was a 24.690, whereas Dodger's ahead was a 24.612 as his best lap. So we may not see, unless Dodger makes some mistakes, we may not see them close that gap.
It was beautiful racing by Foster and Brown going side by side through turn 5.
Foster, Brown, Dixon, and Hayes, these 4 drivers have been staying with each other the entire race so far and constantly battling each other. Once one battle occurs ahead, the battle behind catches up. So this is definitely the race to be watching. You can see how defensive Brown is being. He's definitely heeded my my suggestions on being defensive. Goes a little bit wide through the final corner, but it doesn't lose him enough time for Foster to gain. Foster's going to once again, this is such a scary track to try and overtake. So any opportunity you have to do it, you're like, should I actually do it or should I wait? I think the best place to overtake is turn 2 up this hill right here.
Yeah, so many different cambers, and the track just bends in so many different ways. It's really scary to put your car off the racing line.
Yep, especially turn 1. That is my most terrifying place to try and overtake, because you're already in a braking zone during, like, it's turning during the braking zone. It's such a weird corner to begin with. Now, P2 all the way to P18 are all within a second of each other. So this train of drivers, not P2, P11, I'm sorry, P11 all the way down to P18. Ooh, there goes Foster alongside Brown, side by side down the straight. Brown on the inside of this corner. He's going to hold that
use
corner.
Of that Lexus top speed.
Look at these AM drivers hitting side by side. Unfortunate tap. Foster sliding, holding his brakes. There we go, and sliding just a little bit backwards. He's got to try and get back on the track now at this point. We're going to move up the hill now. Dixon and Hayes side by side as they're going through turn 7. That's also a dangerous corner.
Move by Hayes.
Hayes getting the overtake done up the hill. Dixon is now behind and has Mike Cortez to contend with. Mike Cortez going to the inside. Going to back out of it as they go through the final corner. Brown is just hoping that these guys behind will battle so he can run away and try and catch back up to the battles ahead. You can see Cortez in the back right on the tail of Dixon. Dixon cutting that first corner very well, gaining enough time to go up the hill, but not enough to back off Mike Cortez. Mike's going to go to the inside of turn 2, get the overtake done in turn 2. See a car off track behind them, look like. Brown is happy that those two are battling, but not happy enough because Jeremy Hayes is now tucked in right behind. Up the hill they go. And McLaren right on the heels of that BMW, slipping a little bit on the way out. Losing a little bit of time now. Hayes has to worry about Cortez again. Cortez has had his nose right on the tail of every car on this track during this race today.
Oh no!
Speaking of Cortez, slipping and sliding, self-induced bonk again. That's the second time this race. Cortez has lost it around a corner. And he needs to try and catch back up again. Cortez now down 5 positions from where he qualified.
He got Honda.
Yeah, certainly did. Now let's move up the pack to 3rd place. Nicholas Dwyer catching up to Jake Willems ahead. Jake Willems is our points leader right now. It looks like he did a slight bonk there. He spun him around. Dwyer is actually going to let Willems continue on, having the courtesy to let him get back on track without overtaking him so that nothing really comes of it. With that said, Dwyer's trying to gain that ground. Dwyer is in 7th place overall. Last race, he got 1st and 3rd. This race, he's fighting for that 2nd place position over Willems. So there's still a battle yet to be had between these two. Moving back the pack a bit. We got Bennett and Metcalf still fighting for that 5th place position. Metcalf has Jones just inside the slipstream behind, coming over the hill, as you can see there, but Metcalf doesn't want to deal with that. He wants to try and get around Bennett as quickly as possible and then run away. See what happens as these drivers go in through turn 6 now, down the hill. And back up. I know that McLaren's, or that Ferrari ahead is going to be able to outturn this BMW, but that BMW is going to have that straight line speed down this back straight. Bennett going to stay in the middle of the track, be defensive, move to the outside, doesn't matter. He's going to go ahead and get on his racing line. Not too worried about it. A little bit of time gain, not a whole lot, not too big of a deal. Moving up.
So now seeing Mackey lining up and moving Dwyer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like Dwyer had fallen off from Willems ahead after that bonk. just one lap, and he's down 2 seconds from Willems, but now has Mackey to contend with behind. Mackey trying to close that gap. Mackey's fastest lap was a 24.8. Dwyer's fastest lap, 24.3. So if Dwyer can keep his head down and do fast laps again, he'll run away and catch back up to Willems. But if Mackey can stay in the slipstream, he may be able to gain a little bit extra ground per lap on Dwyer ahead. Wes Jones still trying to catch up to Metcalf. Jeremy Hayes still trying to catch up to Brown. Jeremy about to tuck his nose in through turn 4. And a little bit of side-by-side action.
It's been a lovely battle.
Yep, up the hill you can see Brown staying on the right side in the defensive position. Is Jeremy going to tuck his nose in? He considered it. You can see him twitching his car. He decided not to. Oh, ends up accidentally bonking him. Brown now off track because of it.
We have a repeat of the Brown-Foster moment from a couple
and then
laps
Jeremy
back.
getting into it with Dixon as they go down the hill. That is unfortunate for those drivers going up the hill. Another bonk between those drivers. Now Dixon spun. Jeremy coming across the track, hitting that Ferrari of Glenn Jacobs. That was a major bonk. That's going to be severe from the stewards, I think.
Big.
Bramer off track as well because of that.
A lot of cars involved.
Yeah, there were a lot. There was a lot of bonking going on prior to that got him off of his line and in a weird position. So hopefully these drivers are able to get back on track and continue. Foster now alongside Hayes as they go down the back straight towards the final corner.
Glenn Jacobs' car looks very damaged after that.
Yeah, Glenn's is severely damaged at this point. He's just going to try and hold on to that 12th place position for his first race. Glenn in 4th in points overall, and he wants to hold that if not move forward. So he's got to definitely move up in standings. Drivers he's racing against: Larry Foster, Roger Gred, and Jake Willems. Jake Willems is only a couple positions ahead of Glenn right now on track. Roger Rudd is, I don't see him at all. Oh no, he's in 7th. Take that back. So he's not going to be able to overtake either of those. Larry Foster is behind though. So if Larry Foster stays behind, Glenn could move up points-wise into 3rd place in podium.
Willems is also severely damaged. Something must have happened for him to drop from P3 back to P8.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with him, but you're right. He is pretty badly damaged there. We saw him racing earlier way up in the front, and now is all the way down in P8. The guys in the back, ooh, there we go. Dixon trying to throw it in the corner. Decided not to. Ooh, side-by-side action with Bramer. Bramer more or less giving the position up because he got a little bit slippy through the final corner. So Dixon is going to get around Bramer and continue on his lap. Larry Foster and Hayes still going at it. Hayes is going to run away, I believe. Let's see what happens as these drivers go through the first corner now. We've got 15 minutes. We're halfway through the first race for the AM split. This is the event 5. We have one more race after this. Next week's race will be an hour long. Or is it 90 minutes? 75? I can't remember. It's a lengthy
90
race.
minutes.
90 minutes. So it's quite a long race.
90 minutes of Spa-Francorchamps.
Yep. Spa, and will be combined servers, I believe, as well. So that'll be cool to have the pros back on track. Roger Gred still trying to race Wes Jones up the hill. Both Wes and Roderick are in the same position of which they qualified 6th and 7th, respectively. So they're on pace with each other for sure. These two drivers have been kind of back and forth the entire race. Luckily, no bonks have occurred between them. Metcalf ahead. Putting it into the corner through turn 3. Knocks Bennett off track. Bennett rejoining behind. Now in between. Nope, he's joining behind Roger Red back there. I wonder if Metcalf will pull over and let him catch up, but he's got to let 2 other drivers pass for that to happen, or if he's just going to run away and take the penalty. Looks like he may just take that penalty.
Yep, I didn't catch that bonk, but it doesn't look like Metcalf's going to let the other two cars by.
No, it does not. We're going to move all the way to the back of the pack. 20th place, C.W. Wells and Ian Gazzoni going up the hill towards turn 2 on their 11th lap. These two drivers, Wells' best lap was a 26.3. Gazzoni's was a 28.5. So you know Wells has the ability to overtake. We'll see if he does. It looks like he's going to tuck his nose in as they go towards turn 4 and up the hill side by side. Gazzoni's more or less going to concede the position and just give that to him, let him run away. Further ahead on the track, Jeremy Hayes trying to get an overtake done on Chanley. You can see the damage from Chanley and Hayes now as well. Hayes has some damage front end of his car, but not nearly as bad as Chanley. And once again, Hayes has Foster behind him to contend with too. So we're going to see another three-way battle for 16th position. Further up the track, Phil Dixon, Glenn Jacobs. Glenn with that severe damage on his car, going very narrow in the final corner. Going to stay narrow, be able to hold the position on the way out. Dixon getting the better exit. He's going to tuck to the inside, moving back to the outside as Jacobs goes defensive into turn 1. Jacobs down the hill, staying ahead, losing a little bit of time. You see him going defensive again into turn 2. Great amount of defense by Jacobs ahead. He knows he doesn't have the pace anymore because of that damage, so he's going to stay defensive any moment he can. Both these drivers on nearly the same race line. Going up the hill through turn 4 now. Ooh, it looks like Phil got wide and slippy, and he's sliding. So he's losing a lot of time now. He's got to worry about Bramer behind. Dixon's going to be slightly defensive, not enough for it to matter, and Bramer's not going to tuck his nose in for the overtake.
It takes a lot of bravery to put a car side by side through that turn.
While all that was happening, we have a new second place position with Mackey ahead, Dwyer in 3rd, and then Metcalf is now in 4th. So you can see Mackey and Dwyer racing for that second place position now. Mackey up the hill. These drivers are about to start lapping drivers ahead of them. They already have one driver behind that's been lapped. And that's 22nd place of Bobby Harold. And then ahead is 21st place, Lizzie Alicea. These drivers are just one corner behind Lizzie, fighting for their position. Mackey's hoping to get around Lizzie with no issue and hopes that Dwyer behind will get held up. We'll have to see what happens as these drivers come up to the back markers ahead. Up the hill now. Dwyer falling off a little bit. Gaining a little bit of time through the entry of that corner. He's actually closing up that gap a little bit down the back straight. Final corner. Both drivers hitting the apex very well. Crossing the start-finish line. 10 minutes left in this race. Mackey trying to hold that position. Just keep his head down. His last lap was a 29.982. Dwyer's behind, I'm sorry, 24.982, and Dwyer's behind 24.7. So he is gaining that ground on him, lap by lap.
Gets a little sideways there, out of turn 2. I'm interested to see how Shane Dodger manages the pack of 2 cars he has ahead of him. Seems like Larry Foster is gonna let him by, no issues.
We'll have to come back to that in just a moment because we're still coming up to Lizzie right now. They are on the long straight past turn 4 now. Only a couple car lengths behind Lizzie with a half second between Mackey and Dwyer. Lizzie staying on the racing line as they go into turn 6 down the hill. Using all of the track ahead of them. This is a bad place for an overtake. Mackey knows that. He doesn't want to attempt it. This next corner is a great one. You can see him tucking in. He's going to get his nose all the way in. Lizzie all the way off track, just giving the whole track to them. No issue for either driver. However, Dwyer has closed that gap further and is now 2/10 behind Mackey, getting ever closer. Let's move all the way down to the middle and look at Mike Cortez again. Mike only down 1 position from where he started, even after the self-induced spins. Trying to catch up to Brown now ahead. So they're going through turn 5. ending their second sector into the third sector now. Cortez hitting that curb on the inside, getting them a little bit loose. Going up the hill, we've seen Cortez get kind of slippy here, so he's going to be a little bit extra cautious, but he still uses all the track. Not enough on the right side there, so he's... Oh, I say that, but he's got a better exit. Brown being defensive again. Through the final corner. Brown just a little bit too wide. Mike's going to try and stay narrow there. Mike trailing down the straight, putting his car in a potentially dangerous position. There's the bonk. There's the spin. He backs off.
Good catch.
Brown's able to keep his car on track. Mike slowing down and conceding, letting him get back on track so he doesn't overtake and get an invalid overtake. Roderick Rudd up in 6th, fighting Wes Jones for that top 5 position. Now, both these drivers are up one singular position from where they qualified, meaning they're where they're supposed to be, referencing each other. So they're on pace with each other. Looks like their best lap times during this race. Wes Jones, 24.932. Roderick Rudd, 24.977. So they are on pace with each other.
Absolutely.
Looks like they've got
As
a
they're
back
now
marker to
coming up
contend
to
with. That is Lizzie Alisea again, going down the hill towards turn 2. Lizzie staying more or less in the middle of the track. See what happens as they go through the corner. They're going to go to the outside, at least Jones is. Down the hill now. Jones trying to get the better run. Tucking to the inside of Lizzie now.
A little bit of flashing.
Roderick's just far enough back that he's not going to be able to tuck his nose in. I take that back. He's in there. Lizzie gave him the position as well, letting these two drivers race without any issue. Roderick Rudd has the run down the back straight. It's going to tuck to the inside. Wes Jones did not move to the defensive line. Roderick Rudd, side by side through turn 4, turn 5. Backs out again on the way out of the corner. Lost too much time on the way in. Going to try it again during dangerous corner number 7. What is this? What's the name of this corner? I pooed myself corner? That's what I would name it. Up the hill.
Oh,
Wes
no.
Jones slipping, sliding, hits Roderick Rudd. Both these drivers round. Wes Jones still on track. Roderick Rudd backwards on track, has to spin himself around and get back on.
Oh, that is extremely unfortunate for both drivers.
Both these drivers fighting for that position and end up hitting that, just bonking each other. And it didn't seem like it was anything that was defensive or anything. Just one of them slipped and the other one hit him. So that was unfortunate. Moving up, Dwyer's still trying to overtake Mackey. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this battle has been going on for basically the whole second half of this race. I'm curious to see how it's going to end up when the checker flag comes.
We've got 5 minutes left. With that said, after that bonk, Bennett has now caught up to Jones. We're going to see another attempted overtake from Bennett. Bennett's down a position from where he qualified, and Wes is up one. So these drivers started in opposite positions from where they're at. With that said, Bennett's fastest lap for the race has been nearly 4/10 slower than Wes Jones's, so we may not see an overtake there. Mike Cortez getting around R.L. Brown up the hill. Brown has Dixon behind and Hayes behind. These drivers have been battling all race as well, and we've seen them hit each other, bonk, drive off track, etc. There's a lot more to be had here. Chanley, it looks like Ryan Chanley got into something. Like severe damage to his car. I want to back this up 15 seconds and see. Looks like he was side by side with C.W. Wells, or I don't know, it was a Mercedes, and just outbroke himself. So that was unfortunate. Chanley going up the hill. Back up we go towards Dixon and Hayes and Brown. Ooh, let's move up to P3 and P2. Going down the hill towards turn 3. Dwyer threw it in there, a little bit of bonking and come on the way out of the corner. And Dwyer is now up in 2nd. Mackey is in 3rd. That could have been a lot more dangerous, though. These drivers able to hold on to it.
Yeah, but I don't think Mack is giving up, so let's see if he can pull it back.
Well, I have to watch. Look, as he closes that gap into turn 5. Right on the tail of Dwyer again. Down the hill they go. They've got 3 minutes left. That's enough for 2.5 laps, 3 laps. So we'll see what happens. I want to jump back really quick as Wes Jones and Bennett go side by side through turn 5. Wes Jones completing the overtake on the outside of the corner there and running away. Let's move back up to Mackey and Dwyer again. I want to watch these drivers as much as we can for the final bits of the race. As long as nothing bad happens to these drivers, hopefully no commentators curse or anything of the sort. So we'll have to see.
Seems like Mackey has fallen off a little bit.
Excuse me, I was having a drink of agua. Yeah, Mackey is now 7/10 off of Dwyer's time. Dwyer just trying to put his hot laps in. Dwyer's last lap was a 26.3 and Mackey's a 27.6. So as long as Dwyer can keep doing these fast laps, he may end up just running away. That time has increased now to 3/4 of a second. We still have a battle for 12th place in the back, though. I'm going to move back to Brown. Who has Dixon right behind him. All these cars with some sort of damage from previous bonks. Brown going wide through the final corner. It's like a double apex corner almost. All three of these drivers kind of... Ooh, you can see that Porsche trying to tuck his nose in through the first corner, sliding on the way in, closing that gap rapidly. Brown's going to be defensive. Dixon's going to stick his nose in where it shouldn't be. End up hitting. Luckily, nothing bad came of that. Brown's going to hold that position. That was almost a bad move by Phil. Could have spun Brown all the way around. Now, Phil on the outside of the corner, on the way up the hill. Brown
He's going to get the better run for the straight.
Brown is going to say, you know what, you have it. That's the way it's going to be, you can have it. He's just going to stay on the inside line now and try and block from Hayes. However, Hayes has the better run down the straight. Looks like he's not going to be able to beat him to the corner. Both drivers turn in. Brown ahead. Dixon nearly a second ahead at this point. Battle's still on for this 13th place position from Brown and Hayes. Going up the hill, looks like that gap is going to open up a little bit. Brown says, you know what, I'm happy with 13th. You guys go on without me. We've only got 30 seconds left. We don't need to die now. Bobby Harold in the pits. Looks like he just returned. Mackey has now fallen off nearly a whole second. What is going on with my camera? There we go. Mackey has fallen off nearly a whole second from Dwyer. Wes Jones is 3/4 of a second closing to Bennett ahead for that 5th place position. The leader is now on the final lap, everybody, in case you couldn't hear my game for any reason. With that said, this battle right here, they're going to have to deal with first place behind them as well. If I was Dodger, I don't know if I'd want to get in the middle of this battle, seeing how bonky they have been. Bobby ran out of fuel. He needs to stop doing that. He needs to fuel at least 2 laps. I guess 1 lap for him is not doing it for him. Up the hill they go. Brown's got to stay defensive again for Hayes behind. Same corner as last time. Luckily, Hayes isn't far enough alongside at this point. Both the drivers still going in. Ooh, I want to move back. Wells and Jacobs racing each other up the hill. We got a couple of races to watch at this point, and I don't know which one to focus on. Let's get back to Hayes and Brown. These two are battling, and they're constantly side by side, so we'll watch these guys for a little bit. Something else comes, we'll watch it.
Oh, they still have a whole nother lap.
They do, yeah, because first place is behind. Now, if they both backed off at the same time, they could let first place pass and not race anymore. However, they've got an entire lap ahead of them at this point. First place, Shane Dodger, finishing the race now. The battle is still on for these two drivers all the way to the finish line. Oh, gosh, I say that, but Jeremy Hayes slipping down the hill. Glenn Jacobs has finished the race and decided to crash into the wall as fast and as hard as he could. So that's good, as long as we catch that on stream. I don't know what that was. He just turned his wheel as hard as he could into the wall. The battle is still on. Top 3 drivers, Shane Dodger, Nicholas Dwyer, and Alan Mackey, 1, 2, and 3. 4th place, Eric Metcalf. 5th is Bennett. I don't know what's going on with my screen here. Bennett and Wes Jones. And 6th, 7th is Willems. 8th, Roderick Rudd. 9th place, Mike Cook. 10th place, Drew Freiberger. 11th place is 20 seconds behind. You can see these two still battling, Jeremy Hayes and R.L. Brown, as they're going through the penultimate corner now.
They're going to be the last people to the finish line.
They are going to, well, they were the first people ahead of first place, so we're going to watch these guys finish out the race and battle for it through the final corner now. You can see Hayes trying to get that tighter line, close up the gap. It's not going to work. R.L. Brown's going to hold that 13th place position. Great race. That was awesome. There was a lot of battling for that entire race. Good job, everybody.
That was a very good race, and I gotta say hats off to Shane Dodger for a very, very well managed race from start to finish.
Yeah, that was awesome. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and switch servers now. I'm gonna run an ad while I do the server switch. Once again, you guys don't want to see the ads, use your Prime sub so you don't have to pay any money. Just use the what's his name? Bezos bucks. Use that. And we're gonna move to the AM split. We'll see you guys after the ad. All right. Now, those of you that are here that have subbed, thank you for subbing. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've done for our community. Go get yourself something to drink. Got a couple of minutes before the pro split starts up.
We got 2 minutes for the formation lap.
2 minutes before the formation lap. 1 minute 35 for the ads. We will go down the driver list after the ads have concluded. And normally I grab a beer at this point, but I've been really enjoying this water bottle I bought. That gives me, it's called Circle, and it gives me flavor for like 10 bottles. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
And since I bought it 2 days ago, I've refilled it probably 10 times. So it's pretty cool.
Well, they say water's healthier than beer. I still don't know if I should believe that, but...
Oh. Well, I don't know if I believe that either. Just at a glance, it looks
maybe
like...
we just don't want to believe it.
It looks like Gabriel Oskar, you say that name 10 times. Gabriel and Adam Westland. Those are our two latecomers in the pro split. They're starting in the back, so...
Yeah, they didn't qualify.
Grizz, is that the thing with flavor cartridges? It does. It kind of goes. It is the part that you would drink out of like a normal water bottle is the whole cartridge. So it's kind of a weird thing. So if Circle ever goes out of business, I can't use this water bottle for anything ever. So. You had one that made your throat hurt. Maybe you were allergic. We got 30 seconds before these drivers drive out on track, so we will go down the driver list here shortly from a camera point of view.
10 seconds.
Okay, let's get the stream back on. We have the information back on stream for you guys. Thank you for being here. Welcome back. Nico, at your discretion, take it away for the driver list.
All right, in pole position for nobody's surprise, we got Zach Schneider, followed in second by Kevin Rivera in that red-looking Ferrari, for difference. Then in third place, the Honda of Devin Anthony. In fourth is Austin Gerber in that McLaren, followed in P5 to round out the top 5 for James Casaboom in the Noobs R Us Mustang. Then in P6, we got Nick Kenya. P7 for Adam Turay, followed in P8 by Douglas Furnish, who I don't see on the track. Oh, there he is. Then we got in P9 Emmanuel Ramirez from Costa Rica. Then P10 it's Casey Swanseger, and he's good old reliable, the Porsche, followed by Matt Russo in the same car. P12 for a driver that I haven't seen before, Jeremy Wason,
Yeah, he just
from
joined.
Australia.
He just joined tonight. So
Let's see how he does. We got P13 for Joe Allison, and that's 76 McLaren. Edward Pena in P14 in our McLaren. In P15, we got our Noobs R Us own Andrew Casey. Then P16 and 17 for the two BSR drivers. The latest invites to the Rookie Series, Gabriel Oskakir and Adam Weslin. And finally, in last place, we got Russell Harrell. Very interesting to see Russell all the way in the back. I wonder what happened to him. He was posting up good times in the practice server.
Taking a look, he's in the Pro-Am split. Russell Harrell is in second place overall in points. So I wonder if he decided to join these BSR guys in a last to first kind of situation. No quali kind of thing. So we may see that from tonight. We may see these guys try and push their way through. The drivers coming through the penultimate corner now. They're going to start going side by side. Schneider in first in the right hand's pole position. Kevin Rivera in second. Similar amount of drivers on track as there were in the AM split, so we may see a similar amount of racing. However, it is not uncommon to see these guys split up a little bit more, as there is a wider gap of drivers. All right.
Also, we're looking at Zach not driving this Muckers livery this week.
Yeah, he decided he was going to represent Noobs R Us in the lead this time around. All these Noobs R Us cars on track. A lot of pretty purple and yellow and red and blues. This is race 2 for the pros and pro-ams in tonight's event. We are green, race 2, pro-am. Zach holding that first place position. You can see Kevin right behind, and then right on his tail is Devin Anthony. Devin, considering peaking into turn 2, is going to back out, go on the outside instead. Got to be careful with that, though. You stay on the outside too long, you'll have a McLaren tuck his nose in. You can see two drivers side by side back here, Nick Kanya and James Costaboon, as they're going through turn 3 rather. Going to kind of back out there. Now Kanya is looking at Gerber as they go up the hill into turn 4. Moving way back, you got Gabriel side by side moving his way up the ranks now. Already up in 14th. Trying to get an overtake done on Jeremy Wasson ahead. I don't know how to say that one correctly. Gabriel has got his teammate right behind.
Moving
Adam
in formation.
They are trying to stay with each other the entire way. You can see him tucking in as well. Getting the overtake done. Both those BSR drivers getting the overtake done easily through these drivers down the hill. Back up the hill they go. Wason off track. More cars off track. Cars sideways all over the track. That was Russo back there. Let's see what happened causing that. As he goes up the hill side by side with Furnish, it looks like. Kind of backs out. Ends up getting rear-ended by a McLaren. That was unfortunate and ends up sideways. That's what caused that chaos. As we rejoin the live session here, Westland now on the tail of Casey Swanseeger through turn 1 down the hill. Goes right in there. Casey says, you know what, your BSR, just go. I'm not dealing with you.
On typical Casey fashion.
Casey knows when to pick his battles. He knows who he's fast against and who he's not. And these BSR guys are not to contend with. You know, they're esports drivers. So it's an esports team. So we're happy to have them as a sister team and happy to have them represent us every once in a while. But that's what they're there for, is esports. So Russell Harrell has made his way up the pack as well, as he's side by side with Jeremy Waston up the hill. Out of turn 4. Over the crest. Still side by side. You can see how narrow Waston is there. On the outside, Waston is new to our series overall, so this is new to him. Not used to any of these drivers around. He's being extra cautious. Pena behind. Trying to close that gap up as well. Slipping and sliding on the way out of turn 7. Into turn 8, closing up the gap a little bit. Losing a little bit of time on the way out, though. Let's move all the way up to the front. In P3, Devin Anthony on the tail of Kevin Rivera. Schneider's already 3 seconds ahead. It's only been 3 laps. 1 second per lap. Schneider is getting on these drivers. You see him crossing the camera right there in front.
I would have hoped for the BSR drivers to qualify and give him a little bit of his own medicine.
I really did too. That would have been good. But I don't know. I mean, Westland is already up in 11th place. Gabriel's already up in 9th. So there's still a possibility of a battle for first. You know what I'm saying? So we may see what happens as the race goes on. Devin's still just trying to tuck in behind Kevin over the hill. Austin
We got through right. Almost causing a big bonk onto the back straight, but luckily keeping control of his car.
Ramirez holding that 7th place position. Two-Rai in trail. Two-Rai now off track. Douglas Furnish getting around because of it. Kind of splitting up those BSR drivers. Gabriel in 8th. Westland still in 11th. Westland has catch up to his buddy, only a couple positions ahead. Gabriel now has Ramirez ahead. Ramirez is known to be very defensive, even if they're not in his split. So we may see Ramirez go defensive into the final corner. He's not going to. Doesn't matter. The overtake has not been made. See what happens as they go towards turn 1. Gabriel's got the better run out of that final corner. Tucking his nose in, coming right back out of it. Emmanuel in 2nd place for his split doesn't really want to battle. That's why you're not seeing him be defensive. Gabriel still right on his tail down the hill towards turn 3. Trying to get the better run on the exit. As soon as he can get around Emmanuel, you're going to see him run away and catch up to these fast drivers ahead of the pro split. There he goes. He's side by side up the hill. Overtake's almost completed before they even get over the crest.
Let's see how this turns out.
Emmanuel not able to outbrake him into the corner. Yep. Ramirez now has Furnish behind to contend with. You see Furnish tucking his nose in. Gabriel's going to run away from these drivers behind. He's just got the pace and the skill to do so. But these two drivers, Douglas Furnish and Ramirez, are fighting for 2nd place in their split. So we'll see what happens.
By the way, Zach Schneider's previous lap was a 122.9.
122.9. So if that doesn't show you the difference between our pro split and the AM split of nearly 3 seconds, 2.5. I'm just saying, you're definitely seeing some difference in times here. Let's go back here. Furnish trying to catch up to Ramirez ahead. Furnish also has Westland behind, who's now made up a single position. Gabriel is already outside of that 1 second, 1.5 seconds from Ramirez ahead and pulling away. Gabriel's 2 seconds behind James Kosovoon. James's fastest lap, 24 flat. Gabriel's 23.8, so he's definitely got the pace to catch up. Now that Gabriel is alone for a lap, we may see him run the fastest lap here in a little bit. Moving up a little bit, I want to see James Kosovoon. Oh my gosh! We moved right into that at the wrong time. Both drivers off track, staying in position where they were.
And Gabriel right behind, following their lines.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Gabriel's got to try and make up some time again. However, Gabriel's definitely going to close the gap within a lap or two on these drivers, especially if they're going to be battling for that 5th place position. Westland
Somebody
now
dropped some banana peels in that turn.
I didn't know we were playing Mario Kart. Westland now battling Furnish for that 9th place position. Furnish has said that he had waited to drink beer until the race, so hopefully he's had enough to be able to drive safely around the track. James Kosovoon and Gerber once again trying to get an overtake done as they go towards turn 2 over the hill. James right on the tail of Gerber as he's coming out of the corner now. Losing a little bit of time down the hill. Trying to get that better exit through the turn 3. You got a little bit of a straight before you hit turn 4. But it's such a fast sweeping left-hand corner here that if you're able to get the right line through there, you'll be able to get a good run down the back straight. Looks like Kosovoon does get that good exit. He's now running down the straight. That Mustang has so much straight line speed. See Gerber being defensive. James, this is where they lost it last lap. Hopefully we don't see a repeat. A little bit wide, a little bit of dust being kicked up. Oscar's now within a second of James behind. James wants to get around Gerber as quickly as he can because he doesn't want to have to deal with Gabriel behind. It looks like he might have to anyways.
This is a point in time where Gabriel's overtakes are going to be harder and harder as he reaches up to the faster and faster drivers.
Yep, absolutely. You can see James was being slightly defensive, but not enough that's going to... Well, I just said that, but now Gabriel's alongside because he went too wide. James did. Too wide into the final corner, so now Gabriel's going to get around. If you're going to lose time, I guess that's the place to do it. Gabriel completing the overtake into turn 1 up the hill. James is not going to back down. You can see him going to the offensive line side by side into turn 2. Gabriel not going to let it happen, though, as he's going to hold that side by side, slipping a little bit. He's going to stay on an offensive line down the hill. Not going to be enough to do another overtake. James a little bit wide there. Is going to lose some time because of it. A lot of battling going on for this 6th place position. Like you had said, he's moved up. They moved up far enough in the pack that the battles are going to get more and more difficult, and James is not one to back down from a battle.
Oh, definitely not.
Moving back towards Westland now. Westland trying to get an overtake done on Ramirez through the straight. Looks like he's just closing the gap into the corner now, trying to get that better exit. There's a couple battles to be watching right now, and the one that's closest is between these two. Ramirez, they're going to go side by side up the hill, the most dangerous corner to try and overtake. You can see Ramirez just back out and say, you can have it. I'm not going to crash into you today. Moving up, Devin Anthony has closed the gap to Kevin Rivera. Devin is currently leading in the Pro-Am split, which is wild being in 3rd place. Devin, fastest lap, 23.8. Kevin ahead. Kevin Rivera, 23.9. So you are going to see some battling between these two drivers. Devin going wide through turn 2, trying to get a better exit. Not going to happen. Down the hill, it looks like he's going to fall off a little bit. Gabriel, looks like something happened to him. He slipped. He's now a second off of James Casaboon. Moving all the way down towards the back, we got Russell Harrell get an overtake done on Penna. Up the hill, Matt Russo wants some of that action, is going to try and tuck his nose in through turn 2. Not going to be enough. Going down the hill now. Penna has to contend with the driver ahead and behind now. Russell trying to run away from it. Catch up to Wasson now. Russo tucking his nose in up the hill through turn 4. Side by side they go. And McLaren's going to have a little bit extra straight line speed, but it's not going to be enough because of the better exit from Russo. The overtake will be completed prior to the turn-in, but Penna's going to keep his car there and try and keep Russo wide. Doesn't matter. Russo has completed the overtake. Penna's going to try another nose in through turn 6. Down the hill they go. And at this point, I would say that the overtake has been completed by Russo and Penna. Penna off track, slipping. Able to hold the car. That was extremely dangerous. He's still got dirty tires as he goes through the next corner and falls off. Russell Harrell and Wasson going side by side through the final corner now.
Very clean driving.
Looks like the overtake was completed easily by Russell in that instance. And we will move back up the grid. Actually, let's see. Let's move back up the grid to Devin Anthony and see how he's doing. Devin Anthony, half a second off of Kevin Rivera, gaining some time down the back straight, over the hill. You can see him closing that gap, but it's not going to be enough for an overtake in this straight. He's also got to worry about Nick Kanye coming up behind. Nick, unfortunately, has not done a faster lap than either of these two's best lap. But Nick's previous lap was a 24 flat, whereas both Devin and Kevin are in the 25s. So there may be some racing going on for 3rd place if these guys battle too much for that 2nd place position.
Turai just retired to the pits. Something happened to him in Sector 2.
Like he's given it up and gone back. Moving all the way to the back here. Wasson and Penna still battling. They've fallen off pretty quick. Gabriel still trying to get around James as they're coming around the final corner now through the front straight. James going to be defensive into turn 1. Not defensive enough. Gabriel's not going to tuck his nose in. Down the hill they go. Gabriel's going to try and get the better run. He hits too much of that apex. Doesn't matter though. He's closed up the gap. nose to the inside. Not going to be able to get his nose all the way in. These drivers are very well on pace with each other right now. James doesn't have to be overly defensive as he worries about Gerber ahead too. So I wonder if James is thinking, you know what? It'd be better to just finish in this current position. He's in third overall. Nico, you're with me tonight, so he doesn't have to worry about you for points. He does have to worry about Gerber being ahead. However, Gerber is 8 points in trail of James. So even if Gerber finishes both races ahead of James, directly ahead of him. Ooh, speaking of Gerber, a little bit slipping and sliding there.
Oh, no.
James now spun around. I missed the bonk, but it looks like it was just a love tap that sent James back. Gabriel getting the overtake done. Gabriel now has to worry about Gerber ahead. Where is Tony? Tony Danzig? Tony Danzig is not racing tonight. Otherwise, I don't know where he's at.
Just a little slide for James, caused by that
Yep. We'll see if James can
rear
catch
panel of
back
the
up.
McLaren.
Realistically, Gabriel is not racing for points. He's racing for brownie points. So all he wants to do is just get around and say, I did this from last to wherever. So these drivers ahead, while they may be racing, aren't racing Gabriel specifically. So you can see Austin get a little bit wide there, stay defensive into the next corner. Doesn't really matter. I think at this point, Gerber's just worried about James behind and trying to hold that position ahead. No, it doesn't look like Tony Danzig is racing now. Gabriel getting around Gerber up the hill now. Gerber once again has to worry about James behind. Moving up the pack, Devin Anthony. It seems like his best sector is sector 1, and then into the exit to sector 2 is where he's catching Kevin. So there's still maybe a battle to be had for second place between these two drivers.
Devin Anthony really putting that Honda to good use, taking advantage of how good it is around this track.
Devin is a very competent driver as well. So you saw
Yes.
Mike Cortez from the AM split and him being nearly in the back. It's not a car issue. It's just a driving and
Oh, absolutely.
it's definitely an experience situation. You can see how defensive Kevin was trying to force Devin to the outside. It didn't matter because he wasn't able to get an overtake done. Drivers up the hill. Kevin flashing the camera because he wants us to see him. Hello, Kevin. You may see Kevin text and drive here shortly. He does that. While battling. Now, all of this battling that's been occurring and all that defensive driving has allowed Nick Kanye to catch up. Nick is now within slipstream range of both these drivers ahead. So Devin has to worry about that. Up the hill they go. Once again, like I said, I think that's Devin Anthony's best sector right there. So you're going to see him catch up to Kevin and then lose it through the final sector, and Nick will catch back up. So we'll have to see what happens. Through turn 5, he's closing the gap further onto Kevin. Not going to be enough to poke his nose into any corner. Looks like Kevin messed up that corner. He might be defensive up the hill. Doesn't really matter. Both these drivers going in the most dangerous part of the track, safely staying on track. Kevin trying to get the better entrance and exit through this corner. It's not going to really work. A little bit of time gain, a little bit of nose poke, doesn't matter. Kevin's not going to fall for it. But Devin is at a point now where he either needs to get around Kevin or he needs to just tuck in behind and work with him. Looks like he's going to tuck in. Backs out. I thought he was going to go for it, but he's at a point now where he needs to either get around him or he needs to work with him to try and run away from Kanye, or he's going to lose that podium position from tonight's race. We're at 12 minutes left in the race, 13 out of 21 laps-ish. So still just under half the race left for these guys to race, but you don't want to risk giving up that podium position because of it. Devin is awesome. We all love Devin. Moving all the way back into 15th, we got Jeremy Wasson still trying to get an overtake done on Penna. It looks like they're going through turn 2 now. He's got a little bit narrow in slides, so he's going to lose time as they go through turn 2 towards turn 3. Russell Harrow trying to catch up to Douglas Furnish. Like I said, similar amount of cars on track, less battling to be had. So that is Our only two other battles going on is for 11th and for 14th, and then for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. These three drivers. One of the
James
most patient
Costa
drivers.
finished off the track and off the race.
James Casaboon, I don't see him at all. It looks like he's quit completely. So
He just did.
he said, you know what? Maybe I don't need those points, and goes for a full DNF.
He's gonna
Regardless
hand
of-
me that 3rd stripe for me.
It might not. Gerber might take that away from me though, because Gerber's still on track and fighting for points. So
That is very true. I mean, we'll have to see at Spa.
Russell Harrell still fighting Furnish as they go through turn 1. Harrell very narrow, slipping a little bit through turn 1. Moves to the inside, moves back. Yep, he's going to tuck into the inside for turn 2. Furnish given the position, but accidentally hits him and spins him a little bit. Furnish knew that that was happening, backed out and said, sorry about that. You can have that. I didn't mean to hit you. So down the hill they go. Harrell overtake complete. These three drivers still fighting for that 3rd place position. 2nd place, technically. All three of these drivers in a train, and they got Gabriel behind. So Gabriel has finally caught up to this train and fighting for a podium position from nearly last place. Westland in 7th started from the back. Westland up 10 positions from where he started. Gabriel up 11, according to our standings. All three of these drivers ahead know that Gabriel's behind, and they want to get an overtake done so that those people can hold him up rather than them trying to have to hold him up. If I was any of these drivers ahead, I would just let Gabriel by at the earliest convenience and hope that the car ahead ends up blocking and battling. That way you can tuck in behind Gabriel and get a free overtake. Look at that. So we were talking
So
about...
it's been a very close race all the way throughout.
Yeah, absolutely, especially for this 3rd place position, 2nd place position. Zach Schneider's best lap was a 22.6. Gabriel has been around another car the entire race, and his fastest lap was a 23.4. But he hasn't been able to actually put down his absolute fastest lap yet. Devin Anthony trying to close that gap just a little bit more to Kevin ahead. I feel like that is his best corner. Turn 5 is where he gains the most time. Ooh, Nick Kanye almost rear-ending his teammate ahead. Gabriel able to overtake in through turn 8. Nick Kanye has now moved back into P5.
But Nick kind of got scared there. I don't think he would have hit him.
Well, like I said, if I was going to let Gabriel overtake, I would do it as quickly as possible, and I think that may have been what he was thinking in this instance, where it's just, go, I'll follow you to the next group, and I'll hopefully get an overtake done. Go ahead and make your reports, James. So Gabriel's still trying to gain that position. You can see him now right on the tail of Devin. Devin's getting a taste of his own medicine, putting that pressure on Kevin ahead, as now has to deal with Gabriel behind. However,
Let's see what he chooses to do. He
Like-
chooses to attack. He chooses to defend.
I don't know if he will. He's already in first with 4 positions behind to 2nd place of Ramirez in 8th overall. So I don't know if he will. He might not. The thing is, Kanye is hoping that there will be a battle so that Kanye can tuck his nose in behind Gabriel and get that overtake done on Devin, and hopefully Kevin Rivera ahead. Up the hill they go. Devin. Ooh, spins Kevin Rivera. What a spin. Oh my goodness. Full spin. Didn't hit any other drivers. Whoa, my goodness.
Oh, wow.
That was wild. Kevin Rivera now has Gerber ahead to contend with. Gabriel
it's going to
saying,
be a good battle in a couple laps.
Gabriel here going, you know what? If you're willing to spin him, maybe you'll spin me. These drivers have not driven around each other very much. We all know Devin is a very competent and safe driver. That was an instance of abnormality. We're seeing Gabriel ahead, who's never seen Devin Anthony, to my knowledge, in our series going, oh, I don't know if I want to try and get around you. You might spin me. So we'll see what happens. I believe these drivers have certainly raced in other series and other events outside of Noobs R Us. So that was just an unfortunate team-on-team event. Kevin Rivera is now all the way back in 6th. Still a battle to be had. Gabriel has backed off a little bit. I'm going to move into 10th place here as Russell Harrell is trying to catch up to Casey Swanseger. Up the hill through 4th. The 4th corner, rather. Closing the gap. Both the same car. Similar performance. A little bit better exit for Russell. Casey staying defensive into turn 5. Russell going to stay on the outside. Casey's got to be defensive again through turn 6. Side by side, he misses his braking point, giving the position to Russell on the outside. Russell's going to complete that overtake.
Very good move.
Yeah, it was absolutely a great move. It's a dangerous corner to try and break into, so go ahead.
Yeah, Russell Harrell, another very impressive driver so far through this season.
He's doing awesome. He's in 3rd right now, currently in the Pro-Am split. Devin way up in 2nd is technically in 1st for the Pro-Am split. And then he's got 8 seconds or 4 seconds to catch up to Ramirez ahead. So he doesn't really want to be battling Swanseger at this point. He just wants to tuck his head down and go. He's got 5 minutes to catch up. Moving back up. Gabriel still trying to get this overtake done on Devin. Devin saying, you know what? You want to race? Let's race. Not letting him pass easily. Down the back straight, no need to go defensive. Far enough behind that it doesn't matter. See what happens as they go through turn 6, down the hill now. Gabriel using all the track. Closing that gap just a little bit more here and there. Up the hill they go. Devin staying very competent and calm. I don't think Devin has ever really felt pressure. He understands it, but I don't think he ever gets to a point where he will get shaky under pressure. You know what I'm saying? He's just so level-headed during the entire race. I've raced directly alongside Devin for laps at a time without him backing out. So he's
yeah, absolutely.
Very awesome.
He's one of the very best at that from the entire league.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. He's just so level-headed and so easy to race around because he's so aware. So even if Devin doesn't go defensive, it's going to be a challenge for Gabriel to get around him.
Yeah, Devin's showing some really good pace around here, so it's not going to be easy for Gabriel unless he puts out an absolute blazer of a lap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I get some water as these drivers are going around track. All right. Closing that gap a little bit as they go down the hill. Once again, a dangerous corner trying to overtake. So you're probably not going to see Gabriel go for it. Oh my goodness, he hit the inside of the curb and slipped. He's got some time to catch up now. He's completely out of the slipstream. So now he's just going to have to put down a hot lap, try and catch back up. We'll come back to them in a lap or two and see where they're at. Moving all the way towards 12th place. Matt Russo trying to gain some ground on Douglas Furnish. Matt is down 1 position from where he qualified, so he's qualified in 11th, finishing in 12th currently. Douglas Furnish ahead, down 3 positions from where he qualified.
Furnish with a little bit of damage as well, we can see.
Yeah, you can see a little bit on that front end. Russo, no damage to speak of, closing the gap through the final corner. Not going to be enough for an overtake into the subsequent corner. However, we may see an overtake attempt in the next lap or two. Let's see. Their times are nearly identical. Last laps for both 25.1 and 25.2, respectively. Fastest laps. Ooh, you see a side-by-side action going as they go through turn 2. Furnish going to be a little bit defensive. Doesn't really have to worry about it too much. Into turn 3. Slipping on his way out. This may be Russo's moment. He's going to go to the inside. Furnish leaving the space. Doesn't need to, though, because Russo's just lost a little bit of time. That could have been the moment for Russo. He's going to have to try again in another corner. As I was saying, best laps for these drivers. Douglas Furnish ahead, 24.8. Matt Russo's 24.5. So Russo does have the pace to try and get around if he wants to. Let's move back in the pack a little bit. We got Wasson trying to get an overtake done on Penna ahead. Want to jump back up to Russo here in just a second, but I want to see these two guys battling through turn 5 now. Both in the same car. As a matter of fact, all of the drivers from 13th to the finish are in McLarens. Closing the gap. Looks like he's got a better run on this next corner with Penna ahead, getting off track. Side by side in through the final, the penultimate corner. Watson's got to tuck back in. Moving back up to Russo and Furnish again through turn 1. This is where we saw the battle occur. This is through turn 2. I think Russo just had the better exit. Not going to be enough this time around. Russo going to kind of fall off a little bit to Furnish ahead. Casey Swanseeger ahead. We just saw Harrell overtake Swanseeger a couple laps ago, but Casey's not giving up. He's tucked in and is just staying with that in that 1 second range. We're on the final lap now with Zach Schneider, 23 seconds ahead of Devin Anthony. Devin and Gabriel still battling. Gabriel absolutely can beat Devin in a race if it was a time trial. But you're seeing this right now live, Gabriel being held up by the Noobs R Us driver, Devin Anthony, who is actually Pro-Am split and not the Pro split. So we may see a last lap attempt on an overtake by Gabriel. Hopefully no bonks occur because of it. Devin doesn't want that to happen either, being that he's in first for the Pro-Am split right now. So we'll see what happens. Down into turn 3. Both drivers on pace with each other. Devin Anthony doesn't have to go defensive. Just getting a good run on the way out. Gabriel a little bit wide there, but it might be enough speed for him to try and overtake. It doesn't look like it's going to be over the hill. Gap has remained the same, 0.3 seconds in trail. Trying to outbrake into turn 5 and close that gap up further. Devin is on his A game right now. Doing a great job. Gap has been closed up. 1/10 in trail. Up the hill again. Once again, dangerous place to attempt an overtake. We saw a couple laps ago Gabriel get slippy. Does again on the way out. Is it going to be enough? 2/10 behind.
To the final turn.
Devin being defensive, moving to the outside, knowing it's not going to matter. Final corner. Devin goes really wide, hits the dirt, spins around.
Oh, no.
Devin Anthony trying to recover. He doesn't want to lose any positions. He needs to get moving to hold that first place position. There he goes, rejoining now as we speak. Has Kevin Rivera behind, doesn't matter. He's not battling Kevin. He still holds that first place position.
Oh
for
God.
The Pro-Am split. Oh,
what a
my
finish.
goodness. Gabriel starting in the back, finishing in second overall. Adam Westland as well, finishing 6th overall. We're having other drivers cross the line now as we speak. Douglas Furnish crossing the line now with Russo behind. Casey Swanseeger as well. All these drivers finishing. That was a wild finish.
The other battle going on side by side right now.
Penna and
Going into the final turn.
Weston. Oh my gosh, they're hitting through the final corner. Both cars spinning. Penna saying, nope, I'm running away. Goodbye. Wasson saying, I have TC6 going and I'm trying to floor it. I believe Wasson, just looking at his inputs, I believe he's on a controller. He is.
Some final lap bunkers we had.
That wasn't the only one. Oh my goodness, we had lots of bonking final lap. What a race. Nico, I'm going to have these podium drivers come in here shortly if you would like to take over the podium interview, and I will start working on getting a somebody to host here. Let me see. There we go. Pulling in these drivers as we speak. We may have more join us, but you're welcome to start off wherever you like, Nico.
Good night, good night. Well, I'd like to start off with Zach. P1 again. I'm assuming both races.
You assumed right.
Zach,
Um,
you had some BSR drivers on track tonight, starting back to last to first. Were you worried about that initially going in at all?
I mean, Chase said he was sending 2 guys after me, so I thought they were going to start up front. But
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I don't know why they did that, because they caused some problems at the end. So I'm not sure.
yeah, we were hoping to see a battle, but at the same time, like, well, what were you thinking through? Were you not bored, just driving alone?
Not really. No. Like, even if you're not practicing racecraft, like, there's always something else to work on. So that was basically like trying to keep the rear in check, and I kept having like pressure loss on my right rear through like every lap I did. So I was just trying to make sure I wasn't getting that.
All right. Okay, we have Gabriel in here, finishing in P2 with a very controversial finish to this race.
I don't know what happened there. I want to apologize for that, because I legitimately don't know what happened, because I caught up so much in the last meters there. I don't know what the sorry, I won't swear. I don't know what happened. Because I seriously don't know. I'm just looking over the replay right now. I think he got wide. It's still my responsibility. I will take blame for that.
No,
there's
I went
there's-
wide. I had to shift down.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like, I couldn't react there in time. I think I was so close
I
to you,
saw
to be
that.
honest.
Yeah.
Moving beyond
Don't
that
worry about
incident,
it.
Sorry
Gabriel,
about that.
I have a question for you.
Huh?
Why did you start in the back? Why didn't you qualify and try and run down Zach? Zach is he's been racing in first, winning in first. He hasn't got anything but first this entire season. So we need people to run him
Yeah.
down. We expected you to qualify and get up there.
To be honest, it's 4 a.m. right now, and I needed something to keep me awake. And the action was pretty, the pack was pretty action-packed. To be honest, I was quite enjoying the battles with the Mustang I had in the middle of the race. I'm not gonna say that I never swore. I was quite pissed off at some point. But yeah, no, it was just for fun, because Adam Westlin, another BSR driver, we just said we never practiced for this race. We just basically mustered up a setup in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and said we ball. And at the end, I just wanted to have a bit of fun. Zach it would have been problematic even to catch him, just because he already had practiced over the whole week. Maybe I could have given him a run for his money over when I practiced. But to be honest, Zach is just really fast, and last week we were at Barcelona and I couldn't keep up with him. Simple as. And I don't take any shame in saying that, because Zach is literally one of the fastest drivers I know.
Well, I would like to invite you to the finale next week if you have time for it. I know it's 3 a.m. for you, but it is going to be 90 minutes at Spa. So, and it will have,
I heard that.
it will have pros, it will have pro-ams, and it will have am drivers on track. So if you're willing to actually qualify and race, I'd like to see you race against Zach and give him a run for his money for the finale.
Yeah, I'm more confident in my abilities at Spa, because I'm quite competitive. I've done my fair share of 15s there, but then again, yeah, it's a Mustang and it's Spa. Everything can happen. Literally, my car's kryptonite. I can't really say anything else there. And of course, the driver behind the wheel is also, yeah, I would say not very dumb. He's very fast. He knows what he's doing. So let's
Right.
see. I mean, if I'm awake, surely I'll do it.
I'm going to hand the stage back to Nico. Nico, you can interview whoever you like again. I'm going to continue on with the stream stuff.
I want to keep following the order and go to Nick Kanya. Want to know what your race was like. I see you just keeping a clean race and taking advantage of all the chaos that happened in front of you.
Yeah, just trying to keep it clean. Had to go side by side with James off the start for pretty much the entire first sector. Other than that, just dodging Kevin there in the middle of the race, and yeah, kind of just came to me.
Awesome. Then moving on to the Pro-Am split, we got P1 and Devin Anthony with some insane and incredible pace. We got to see you battling the entire Pro split for the whole race. So talk me through it. Tell me what were you thinking then Were you thinking about the points, or were you trying to get your elbows out and fight the fast guys?
Yeah. No, it was fun for sure. Kevin, I'm sorry. And yeah, I had fun. Unfortunately, I had to slow down myself at the last turn, so I was going wide, so I had to shift down, and then that allowed I'm sorry, what's his name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Catch up, and he kind of bumped me.
Well, you were able to hold that first place position though for the Pro-Am split, so at least you still got that, even though you didn't finish second overall.
Do I have to apologize again? I don't know. I don't know.
No. It wasn't your fault. It was
okay.
I had to slow down, and then that allowed you to catch up because you had I saw the replay. You had the better exit than I did, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry about that, man. I should have seen that coming.
I'm gonna hand it back to Nico, Gabriel, and Devin. I'm gonna move you guys out to have your conversation about the bot. But Nico,
Thank you very much.
And then we have Emmanuel coming in P2 for the second race of the Pro-Am split. We unfortunately didn't get to see much of your race, as you were pretty much alone for the entire thing. But tell me something about it. What were you thinking about during this race? Were you thinking about the points? Were you trying to stay consistent? What was going through your head?
Yeah, well, first and all, hope everyone have a good night. I didn't have pretty high expectative about this race because it's a track that I don't really like it. I had a great piece in the second race, so Alan made a couple of mistakes, and well, I win a couple of positions. It was really fun race. I think that the most important for tonight, it was my piece. I think that I have never had this piece before in other tracks. Yeah, I think that I really have a lot of fun tonight.
That's great.
Good job, Ramirez, and it looks like your consistency is starting to pay off, getting those podium positions. So happy to see it.
Thank you, Jeremy.
And
then
go ahead.
For the final position of the podium in race 2, we got Dak Furnish. We saw you getting in quite a few battles out there. It's actually pretty entertaining to watch. You got in some bonks. So what happened there?
There you go.
I won the first race, but I did not. I don't think. I mean, I had a little bonk with. I'm not even sure who it was. We just kind of bumped into each other and moved each other aside, but no loss of time or anything like that. So it was pretty clean tonight. Great first race. I screwed up coming out of the second to last turn and slammed into the wall in the second race, and I had just too much damage to get any pace. So overall, fun night.
That's great. And then Russell, I'm assuming you got a podium position for the first race?
Yup.
That's great. We saw you not qualifying. We saw you starting from the back. What happened there?
Yeah, so I actually qualified second in Pro-Am, but unfortunately when I do a little like pre-race checklist when there's like the 3-minute timer or whatever before the race, and I was like making sure my wheelbase was like hooked up well to my desk and everything, and in doing so I accidentally hit the mode button and switched to PlayStation mode and then switched back, so I had no force feedback. So I had to restart my game. So I started from the pits first race and started from the back second race, but I still managed to, get top 4 both times. So I was pretty happy with it. I got to race a lot more than I usually get to. So it was fun. The Pro-Am field is really clean. There's a lot of good drivers. I had a lot of fun side-by-sides, and I'm exhausted. I had to push so hard tonight to get back up to the top. So yeah.
That is awesome, man. It's been really cool to see you get progressively into the top of the pack. So yeah, just keep it up.
Yep. Thanks, man.
All right, everybody, good luck. Once again, next week, 90 minutes at Spa with a pit stop combined with all splits on track. We're looking forward to seeing you guys there, and good luck. I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream with Nico.
Woo!
Woo! All right. Nico, thoughts on tonight's races?
Well, I got to watch an AM split race, which I normally don't get to, and that was extremely fun. Very, very clean racing, which is surprising compared to what I used to see before a couple seasons back.
They've really improved. This entire season has been a blast to watch the improvement and see how good they've been. So, I'm happy to see.
Yeah, they're
that.
driving amazing. They're driving cleanly, which is the most important thing.
Well,
Then the pro race, sad to see some major bonks that you don't really want to see in the pro split, but it was also a very fun race with battles going on for the whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was great. Both races were very eventful this week. So next week, all splits will be on track together. Nico, hopefully we'll see you out on track next week as well.
I'm hoping for that as well.
And now, Nico, currently in standings for you, you're in third. You're probably going to lose that tonight. However, there is a drop race. That would be tonight's race. It looks like the tentative. It looks like it's moved you down to fourth overall. So you were tied for third with James. With that said, how are you feeling about next week?
Oh, this season, I mean, in the Lambo, it's been a learning season. I haven't really put that much time into practice. I've just been like going through the motions. Just trying to have some fun. So I'll try to get myself a few days of practice for Spa, because it can be a very tricky circuit sometimes. And now that I know that I'm so close to the podium, maybe try and secure it.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to next week and seeing you guys out on track. Thank you for joining me tonight, Nico. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. Feel free to check out our sponsors. You can also you can join us by going to SimGrid. I've posted those links in the chat. Thank you guys for watching tonight. It's been a blast. I'm excited for next week, the finale for the GT3 Rookie Series, and then the finale for the intermediates the following Sunday, I believe. So it's going to be awesome. Thank you all for being here and have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying. And
have a great night. Set up a raid here. Actually, I forgot to do that. We're going to raid Jake Wells Racing. Go give him some love. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.